And we'll actually get in right into the NBA where we do talk about the players. And this is not going to go on my what is you doing, but I got some shaming to do on the player side now. So to get you guys full caught up, I'll dive into what I was about to say here in a minute. But to get you guys fully caught up since last week, like we just alluded to, the Phoenix Suns have obviously swept the Denver Nuggets, winning that series 4-0. The Suns have now won, I believe, 7 games in a row after they fell behind to the Lakers 2-1. They went on to win that series 4-2. And now they have swept the Denver Nuggets, obviously without Jamal Murray. Obviously they were shorthanded, but still, nonetheless, you have to give a lot of credit to the Suns there. The other series in the Western Conference, after a dominating performance by the Jazz in the first two, going up 2-0 in their series, the Los Angeles Clippers have now tied the series with a commanding win in Game 3 and then winning pretty handily, easily in Game 4 as well, tying that series up at 2 apiece. So now, all of a sudden, that series is deadlocked and looks like it could go 7. Over in the East, we have the 76ers and the Hawks tied at 2 apiece. Both teams have now stolen a game on the road, so that definitely looks like my prediction for most exciting series could hang on potentially. We'll see how Game 5 shapes up, as that game will be aired tomorrow. And, of course, the game we just watched right before getting on, the Brooklyn Nets hanging on to defeat the Milwaukee Bucks, going up 3-2 in their series. What we did not get to talk about was what happened in Game 4, where Kyrie Irving did get injured and obviously was not available for Game 5. Nonetheless, a big-time performance by Kevin Durant to knot up this series, or rather to take the lead in this series, going up 3-2 after a home game. So I have got now what I was gonna say. I have not been too big on hating on Giannis. You know, he has not shown up in the postseason like we would like him to be deemed a superstar, a back-to-back MVP of the league. But something's got to be said here. That now he didn't have a bad game, but this is what is going in, dude. I don't know what to say. Down the stretch, I'm gonna have to say it. Down the stretch, Giannis is not a superstar. He is not a superstar. Down the stretch in these games, he is a regular player. He is not a closer. He's a liability at the free throw line. Dropping the ball underneath the rim with a chance to tie the game. I mean, dude, he's more of a cancer. We saw, and now I know it's just one game, but we saw in that first game against the Heat in Game 1 when they went to overtime, liability on defense. He is just not good down the stretch in games. And for him to be a 2-time league MVP, winning Defensive Players of the Years, I'm just so disappointed. I mean, it's hard to be like yelling at a guy who just had a 34-12 game. But if your team looks like they almost thrive better without you on the court within the last, we'll say, 2 minutes of the game, I don't know what else to say, dude. Like, Drew Holiday is what started setting them up down the stretch. Middleton made a great play, and then Giannis drops the ball. PJ Tucker was playing as good defense as you really can on Kevin Durant. I mean, he was just having another day, like having a great day. And even then, he still forced a miss and gave him a chance to tie the game. And Giannis turned the ball over. I don't know, man. After seeing this, and who knows? I mean, if they lose this next game at home, I'm sorry. Like, Giannis, like, to start the season was in my top 5. I don't know anymore. He may be at my bottom tier of superstars in the league. This is just unacceptable.
Those are some pretty harsh words, but words that I've been saying for a while now. If you just watch the Bucks in the playoffs, I mean, I was saying it back when everybody was saying he's still young, give him time. I said the game just doesn't translate when you don't have, as the kids say now, when you don't have a bag and your move in the half court is to put your head down, drive, hope somebody slides in late so they get a blocking foul, and you throw up a layup that goes in. You can't make free throws. When that's the game plan, it's pretty hard to replicate. What's pretty easy to replicate, what Kevin Durant does, what Devin Booker does, what Donovan Mitchell does. They all can create their own shot. They score big buckets when needed. And when they're in a pinch, they can create for other guys. It's not all about them. But for Giannis, I don't think he's great with the ball in his hands. When you can't make free throws, when you can't make jump shots, it really shrinks the court. The Bucks would be best suited at the end of games, and I keep saying this, to give the ball to Middleton and let Middleton go to work. And even when Kevin Durant's guarding him, because that's what's so funny to me too, is the Nets aren't even putting the best guys on Giannis because they say, go do what you do. And if you beat us going against Jeff Green and James Harden, then so be it. But we're going to use our best defender to guard Chris Middleton because we know he's the guy that can create, score at the end of games. That's not an MVP in my opinion. And that's what I've been saying. And I'm going to continue to say it until he proves otherwise. Because, yeah, there's just something about playoff basketball when possessions get longer, the court shrinks, there's not the fast break scoring. You got to find a way. And I don't think he's found the way. And as much as I enjoy talking about this series, it's so much fun. I want to talk about a few guys who do know how to play postseason basketball. Because that Jazz and Clippers series right now, what did I tell y'all last week? Pretty fun, right? Pretty good stuff. Because it's either Donovan Mitchell going nuts for 40 and the Jazz winning, or you get all the Kawhi lights from the Clippers. Kawhi's dunking on dudes 4 inches taller than him, sending them back home to their mom's house. I mean, I'd be shocked if we see Derek Favors on the court in Game 5. Not because he doesn't deserve to be on the court because he's a bad player, but I just don't know if he's with us anymore after that dunk last night. So much fun this series. So much fun. And I think the most fun part about this series, too, is that we know exactly what we're going to get from Kawhi, and we know exactly what we're going to get from Mitchell every single night. Whereas in the Nets-Bucks series, you don't know what you'll get from Giannis, especially down the stretch. But you know what you'll get from the Nets superstars. So it kind of makes those games that are on edge feel like, well, this isn't going to go one of two ways. It's going to go one of one ways. The Nets are going to pull it out. But I love that this series comes down to what everybody else on the court does. Because Kawhi's going to get his. Don's going to get his. And we're at 2-2. Because I think these role players around the Jazz and Clippers are so evenly matched. Even though the Clippers will tell you they have another superstar, which, I mean,
on that.
that's playoff. That's cool. That's fine. Yeah. Playoff P.
Way off.
The superstar. Hey, he's been playing better, but he's still got a stigma to break. But that's why I'm enamored with this series so much. The Jazz, for the better part of the entire first half yesterday, looked like they hadn't even touched a basketball in weeks. Looked rusty as hell. All of a sudden, you look up in the third quarter, they're hitting every three they take. It's so cool. You don't know what you're going to get from the other guys. And, from game to game, oh, man, the most exciting postseason basketball series I think we're going to see the rest of the way is this Jazz Clippers series. I think it's going to go 7, and it's going to be one of those, instant classic series. A la the, Raptors 76ers that one year where Kawhi hit the buzzer beater. Now, let's hope that doesn't happen this time. I don't think any of us here or listening are cheering for the Clippers. You can comment if you are, but I'll have some choice words for you. So let's hope Kawhi doesn't replicate that, but it has the feelings of a series that will end like that. And I'm here for it 100%.
Well, if the Jazz would just go ahead and win this in 6, that'd make me a very happy man. I prefer just to get this over with, and then I can rest easy the rest of the postseason. But until the Clippers are out, I cannot rest easy, since my team is already out. That team cannot advance. I cannot have this. I cannot have the the fake Clipper fans who all came out as Clipper fans back in 2000 and what was that 13 when Chris Paul and Blake Griffin all them got there, because ain't nobody was a Clippers fan before then. So all of a sudden these people who come out of the woodworks, I don't need to hear that. So Jazz, you're back at home. Let's turn up. Let's do this. I need y'all, please, because I can't deal with this. But again, what I cannot deal with, and I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to it, dude. I just cannot believe it. With Giannis, man, that is just so bad. And going into this game, I knew it was going to be big for two people, Kevin Durant and Giannis, because I didn't think James Harden would play at all. He ended up playing today, but I thought James Harden would sit out and KD was going to be on his own. And I wanted to see, because this is what everybody is. When LeBron's teammates have been out, everyone said he's got to just go with it and deal with it. So I thought KD would be on his own. But, I mean, I'm not blaming him for Harden playing, but I thought he was going to be on his own, and I wanted to see how he would respond to the first time really in his entire career. He has to basically be the do-it-all guy. He's a guy who always could, but he never has had to. So tonight was the first time, I think, in his entire career where he had to have this type of night, be that type of guy. And going in, I didn't know if he had it, because we haven't seen him do it before. We're in a circumstance where he had to do it. So, and he 100% answered the bell with a 49-point triple-double. Missed a free throw at the end to get a 50-point triple-double. Come on, KD. Got to be better than that. Well, that's really the only mistake I think he made all night. Dropping 49 points. Had just an incredible day. I mean, what more can you ask from the man? 16 of 23 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3, 13 of 16 from the line. I mean, KD, have yourself a night, man. He really answered the bell. And, I mean, he's got to do it one more time, because they've dropped the last two in Milwaukee. So Milwaukee does get to go back home. But I just can't foresee a Game 7 where the Bucks pull it out in Brooklyn after what I just saw. So, but yeah, major props to KD. I've always been more of a defender of KD. I feel like, because a lot of people get on his head for the Warriors move, where I try to see a difference. So I feel like I always back KD up. But I was going to come on here and flame him had he not answered the bell tonight, and he 100% answered it. And Giannis, you are the what's the opposite of the GOAT? The WOAT. You were the worst player.
The worst of all time.
The worst of all time tonight.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, I got to go back to my what is you doing now. Completely forgot to mention Kevin Durant not on an All-NBA team, by the way. So take that for what it's worth. I want to stick in the East. One last thing, because everybody loves the Suns. We know what the Suns did to the Nuggets. I don't even feel like we really need to address that. The Suns were just better, top to bottom. But the 76ers Hawks being tied 2-2 feels weird, because I feel like the 76ers have been way better.
Yeah.
Embiid was horrible yesterday. And I think about it like this. There's two ways to think about this. Either A, you're saying, you know what? The Hawks have a very, very serious chance because of how well Capella defended Embiid yesterday. Or B, you're thinking a little bit more like I am right now. And you're thinking, wow, it took Embiid going 0 for 12 in the second half for the Hawks to win that game by 3 points, as Seth Curry got a pretty good shot off with a chance to tie it, send it to OT. So there's a couple different ways to look at it there. 76ers, they get 2 more home games, tied series. I want to know what your thoughts are, because right now I'm shocked that we're here, where we're at right now. But I think that the entire series is going to hinge on Embiid. If Embiid scores, Sixers are tough to beat. If Embiid doesn't score, Sixers are hard to score. Hard to score for the Sixers.
I mean, so, I said it last week. This series is contingent on his health and or his play. So, I mean, if Embiid's out or if he's going 0 for 12, they're not going to win. And I know they barely lost, but that team is not built to win when he is not playing well. So it is literally all on him. It is down to one player. I think Trae Young can drop 50 the rest of the series, and it is completely contingent on what Joel Embiid is doing. So, yeah, I mean, it's all on his shoulders. He seems like he wants the pressure, but his body does not. He's never healthy. And I don't – they're still right now being – in the longer this series goes, believe it or not, I think it favors the Hawks because it gives them more chances for this dude to break down and play bad or play halfway. So the longer it goes, so the 76ers may win tomorrow since they're back at home. But as long as the Hawks take care of business back in their place in Game 6, I give them every bit of chance in Game 7, if that's what we're going to. So I think, like I said, it is 100% on how healthy and how well Embiid plays. And I mean, I'll be honest, I am kind of rooting for the Hawks because they're the underdog, and I kind of like their squad. So it would be kind of cool to see them edge it out. But yeah, I don't know. The 76ers they're in a tough spot, and the Hawks have already won in their place before, so that also does not help you going back home because in the opposing team's mind, we've already won here before. Why can't we do it again? So yeah, that's tomorrow is must watch basketball for sure. With the Hawks and 76ers and the Clippers and the Jazz. Definitely.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Biggest night of the playoffs so far coming up tomorrow. 100%.
Yeah. 100% agree. So definitely tune into that.